What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Easy Galaxy, aka Chopped Lesbian Cut. Well, not really, but just after I got done flaming it in the last video, I accidentally kind of got that cut. I was going for kind of like a cyberpunk Edge Runners kind of vibe, if you know what I'm saying, but anyways, safe to say we'll be growing the hair out for a while, so stay tuned for that journey. I may bring the vlogs back, you guys have been demanding it. And also, Joe Fades didn't do me wrong. I went to a different guy, so Joe, if you're watching this, I'll be back. Filming location, aka the room. I usually film in the bonus room with the ping pong table and the map in the background. It has a little more stuff going on. I'll show y'all the room real quick. It's kind of messy right now, but I got real big into collecting stuff back in the day, but there's definitely some cool stuff in here. Might do an official room tour eventually, but anyways, camera set back up. The Suite Life on deck. I'm sure many of us grew up with this show, or The Suite Life of Zack and Cody. I'm going to do On Deck because it's the one I grew up with, and I'm a little more familiar. I've watched all these episodes a bunch. I think this is a great show. It was right when Disney was like kind of starting to get woke, but they still had some like really good jokes in there. And The Suite Life of Zack and Cody is also super good. May do a video on that. If we get 10K likes on this video, rest assured, I will bless y'all with the next one. If y'all aren't familiar with the basic premise, a bunch of kids are going to high school on a boat. Whatever writer thought up with that is pretty clever, I must say. And obviously it's starring Cole and Dylan Sprouse. Love those guys. I know Cole, he did Riverdale. He's still doing his thing. The black hair looked pretty cool on him. And then Dylan, he's done a couple things. I know he was in something with Amazon recently, and he did his own brewery, stuff like that. But they just seem like cool people, child stars that didn't really get like messed up and stuff. And there's also Jesse, Debbie Ryan, Bailey. At first, her country accent is like extremely overbearing in the show, but she kind of loses that after a while. And then Brenda Song is London. And then I forgot Woody's actor's name, but he's hilarious. They bring in what's the black dude's name? Oh yeah, they bring in Marcus. They bring in Marcus later on in the show. He was a pretty good side character. But anyways, I don't need to get into all the side character and stuff. This is a super long intro, but it's a cool show. Let's get into the first episode. Pilot episode, Suite Life Sets Sail, which debuted September 26, 2008. I got the dual screen action over here, by the way. I got my Chromebook from school with the episodes, but y'all don't even care about that. Anyways, I'm going to give this one a solid B tier. It's a decent pilot, introduces everyone, some good laughs. I know the main... Bailey was pretending to be a dude for like most of the episode, and then they find out she's actually a girl. So I don't know if that would like be on TV nowadays. That's kind of what I was saying. It was like in the transition, but there are definitely some hilarious laughs. I remember Zach was like, "I want my mommy," and like hugging his mom and stuff when he had to leave. But overall, B tier, solid pilot. Up next, we got Parrot Island. Now this is pretty strange for a second episode. It's already taken him out of the main environment, which is the cruise ship, and shoving him onto this weird island set where there's this one kooky dude who pretends to have a bunch of different jobs. I think he's like a schizophrenic or like multiple personality disorder or something like that. Honestly, I'm putting this one in the C tier. It's not a super strong episode. Obviously, this is a good show in my opinion, so there's always going to be laughs, but wasn't a huge fan of this episode. Next, we got Broken Yo-Yo. I'm putting this one in the A tier. This one had some hilarious moments and some cool moments too, like Zach's like maxing out his card and like living the high life. His card that's only supposed to be used for school supplies, and he's spending it on girls, throwing parties. So I think it's all cool. Like us as kids, we can imagine us wanting to do that. But it's an A tier. There's some funny parts. And then Cody does a little yo-yo competition. I used to try to yo-yo back in the day. It's harder than it looks. He gets in a little yo-yo competition to win some money back so they can afford their school. And he ends up winning. It's pretty funny. He gets like destroyed by this one dude, but it's only for amateurs. So the pro dude gets disqualified. But anyways, Broken Yo-Yo, funny. Zach had this towel gun that like malfunctioned and was like launching stuff. So very cool episode. Next we have Kindy of the Sea. This one's going in C tier. But anyways, this one's okay. It has like some rich snobby people like, yes. Have like some rich stuff, and pretty sure like the rich dude's crushing on one of the girls, and Zach's like, oh man, he's like making wise cracks about the rich dudes. And then like they blame Zach for stealing the thing. He didn't steal the thing. And then London's dog finds the thing. So C tier, a decent. Next, we got Showgirls. Now, this one's going in the B tier. Pretty good. It first introduces Kirby, who is hilarious, man. And I actually think the guy who played him might be dead, so rest in peace. Kirby was hilarious, man. And he's definitely a part of some S tier episodes later on down the line. This one, I think the main plot's just Zach and Cody try to sneak into a nightclub because they think Miss Tutwiler is one of the dancers there by some anklet on her leg or something. So they're like, oh gosh. And then like London and Bailey get in there as dancers somehow, and then Kirby's in the mix, Woody's in the mix. Definitely some hilarious hijinks in this episode. International Dateline. Next episode. That's definitely an S tier for me. First S tier of the day. Give it up. But yeah, I love this episode. It's hilarious. It's so relatable because Cody is trying to ask Bailey to the dance. I'm sure we've all been there. I've been there. Gotten rejected. By the way, I'm on the dating apps nowadays, so if y'all got like Hinge, Bumble, set it to Chattanooga, Tennessee, we might match up. But anyways, shoot, I got kind of distracted there. I think I did a video back in the day talking about all my relationship fails. I actually have some pretty funny stories, but I may do a remastered version of that soon. But anyways, International Dateline. Every time they cross this international dateline, they set back in time. And I remember there's this real funny part where like every time Cody walks into the room, and then Zach's like, which one do you prefer, Wolfman Zach or Wicka Wicka Whack, Wicka Wicka Whack? Mm-hmm. Or old school Zach or something like that. It's pretty funny. So Cody keeps living the day over and over again until he like gets Bailey to say yes, I think. And like tons of funny stuff happens. This is a good episode. You got All Greek to me. This one's going in the C tier. Not a very memorable episode. They like go to Greece. Something gets stolen or some statue breaks or something. I don't know. It wasn't that great of an episode. Up next we got Sea Monster Mash. I think Cody was doing a little school project trying to find Galapagos Gertie. We're gonna put this one in the B tier. Pretty funny. Not a whole lot to say about this. We got Flowers and Chocolate, which is going to be an A tier for me. They bring back some of the OG stars of The Sweet Life, the red-haired dude Bob, and I don't know if the Asian chick was on the original show or not. I can't remember. But this show's super funny because like Cody's trying to like maybe make Bailey jealous or one of the two, and like there's some like hijinks going on there. And I just remember this one hilarious scene where like Zach's like actually getting pretending to get emotional during the song, and he's like during the what's the word for those kind of movies? Chick flick. Yeah, chick flick movies. He's like, snuggle with Zach, snuggle with Zach. So he's like pretending to be sad and like getting all the hoes. Bouncing on the shaboing boing. I'm just like sitting on my bed right now so I can kind of be active like that. But funny episode. Next one is going into the B tier. It's called Boo You. It's kind of like London tries to do her own version of iCarly, her web show, but it's just like pranking Bailey and making fun of Bailey. So it's pretty funny. It does remind me of like what YouTube would be like back in the day where like pranks and stuff were blowing up. Now it's just like long form, which is impossible to break into. But don't worry, we're making it out. We're like 3 or 4 years strong into this thing. Like I'm basically an OG at this point. Like it ain't nothing new, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, Boo You is a pretty funny episode. That's all I have to say. Okay, now we got C Harmony, which is definitely a good one, B. And keep in mind, a B tier for this show is still pretty good because it's a good show, but can't just be putting everything in the S and the A tier. But C Harmony is pretty funny. Zach and London and them want to get Mr. Mosby and Tutwiler off their backs. But since they're lonely, they figure if they set them up with someone, then maybe they'll be distracted by them, be in love. And you know how people are when they just get in love, they're a little happier to get them off their backs. So that's what they try to do. But then when they steal their computers, set them up on a dating website, they get 0 matches. So then they realize they're going to have to change their matches so that they match with the other person. Pardon. But anyways, this kind of sets off a little love thing between Mr. Mosby and Miss T, which I think they're a pretty decent match. You know, you got the redhead. You know what it is. But anyways, they actually do end up kind of dating and stuff, getting off their backs, but then they get to the bottom of it. And like they all get mad at them and make them clean the deck with a toothbrush or something. This one's called The Mommy and the Swami. It's about they like stop in India. And I'll give them this. It was clever that they were like traveling around the world so they can always have new, like whenever the cruise ship gets bored, they can have a subplot in another country, which was cool. So Cody is trying to buy a necklace for Bailey, But then Zach says, here, let me show you something about bargaining, but then like accidentally does not bargain, but then Zach eats a bunch of gross stuff and gets the price reduced. And there's like a genie in there, I think, and someone throws a knife at someone's head, which is pretty funny. But anyways, did I give this one in a tier yet? B tier. Next, we got Maddie on Deck. So this one's definitely an A tier. Maddie was cool. You know, she ended up being in High School Musical and stuff. I don't know where she ended up now, but pretty cool. They go to a castle, and then Maddie thinks she's gonna like go on a date with like a hot prince, but then it turns out to be like this kid. She's like, oh heck no. And then Zach like battles him for the right to date her or something like that. I don't know. It was pretty funny. Next, we got Win in Rome. I think they go to Italy. Some like con artist scams London, but he turns out to be a good guy. Then they scam his uncle back. Pretty decent. Not a lot to say. Solid B tier. We got Shipnotized. This one's going in the A tier. There's this Harvard dude, and his daughter is like apparently pretty hot to Zach. So Zach wants to date the daughter, but Cody is the one who the father would approve of because he's all smart and stuff. So Cody pretends to date the daughter, then swaps him off with Zach. And then they do all their stuff, and then the girl gets hypnotized and like goes crazy, and the dad's like, what's going on? And then she's like, I like Zach, not Cody because he's a dork. Fuck you, Dad. No, I don't think she actually says that, but yeah, great episode 8. I think the first season of the show may actually be weaker than the second and third, which, I don't know, maybe uncommon. But I think the actors were just younger and they needed a while to grow into their roles and everything. But up next we got Mom and Dad on Deck. This one's going in the C tier, pretty decent. I always found their dad to be pretty funny. Their mom was pretty funny too. She had that whack hat hairstyle, kind of like mine, except, well, you know what I'm saying. But anyways, pretty decent episode. Their mom and dad come on the ship and then they perform. Then if they do too good at the performance, then they may stay. And Zach and Cody want their freedom, so they have to sabotage the show by doing, dang, shouldn't have eaten them protein bars or whatever. But oh yeah, by the way, I have been trying to bulk up recently. If I do a vlog at the beach, I'll definitely get a physique review. Like I'm starting to look pretty decent nowadays. Trying to get down to 10% body fat, and I'm at like 11.2. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Let's move. Wrong Stuff. This one's going in the A tier. Pretty funny. London's going to space, and she gets to bring a friend. And Cody and Woody both really want to go to space. So London puts them through tons of different tests, which is pretty funny. And like Cody feeds Woody some like cheese stuff to make him vomit during a motion sickness one, and Woody keeps Cody up all night with by ripping ass or something like that for Cody's to make him tired for the race. So pretty fun. Splash and Trash, which is going in the B tier. Solid episode. This chick randomly is in the ocean and they think she's a mermaid, and then Zach and Woody are trying to figure out if she's a mermaid. Pretty funny stuff. And Cody's on some environmental stuff, but we don't really care about that. Also, I forgot which episode this was in, but Woody and Zach start a band, and it's pretty cool. They sing the song, and Zach's like, and when I'm with my best friend, I feel the warm wind blow. Oh, that was off. And when we share a donut, we both pony up the dough. But things don't last forever. That's just the way things go. 'Cause it's tough to build an angel in the hot December snow. Ladies and gentlemen, Trash Fang. We got Much Ado About Nothing, or Much Ado About Nothing, and this one's probably a C tier. Not as interesting. Cody is simping over Bailey per usual. And I will say his whole 6-month plan gag is pretty hilarious. I think I might have stolen that gag to use with my friends at one point, but it's pretty funny. He does this whole kettle corn festival thing for her, and I think London invites Moose over and kind of ruins it. That's her ex. So then the ex is way more manly than Cody and slamming him in arm wrestling. Speaking of arm wrestling, I used to do some arm wrestling videos where I arm wrestled girls, but I really don't know why those videos did so good, but I don't think I'll ever go back to them. So one of the videos has 75K, maybe 80K, so it did good, but there's only so much you can do, bro. Oh, this next one's Cruising for a Bruisin', going into the B tier, I think. Pretty funny. I think Kirby falls downstairs onto Mosby and breaks him, and Kirby's a pretty big dude, so pretty funny stuff there. I'm pretty foggy on this episode, but I remember it being funny, so that's where it's going. So we got Double Crossed. This one guest stars Hannah Montana back when she was popping and stuff. I feel like Disney shows just aren't as big as they used to be, because there used to be Hannah Montana, Wizards, Sweet Life on Deck, Sweet Life, and then all the big Nickelodeon shows too, like Victorious, iCarly. I like those a lot. I could do videos on those if y'all want. Leave a comment. But I just feel like shows aren't what they used to be. But anyways, where was I? Double Cross going in the A tier just because of the guest appearance. Pretty funny. Cody tells Bailey that he has tickets to the Hannah Montana concert, but he doesn't. He's like doing all these shenanigans to try to get him. But then eventually he fails, but Hannah Montana remembers him from eating cake off of his shirt and gives him free tickets. So he does end up getting his way. We got The Spy Who Shoved Me going in the B tier. Pretty funny. It's different than a lot of episodes, I think. Tries to be more like secretive and cool at first, like, oh, secret spies are on board, but then it's like, wait a second, it's just about salad dressing. And there's like this chick with a whack-ass pinky. So, yeah. C tier. Wait, did I already say Alaka Scram up next, going into the A tier. Pretty funny. There's this magician dude with all kinds of magical powers. That was more Doctor Strange, but this guy's more card tricks, but you know what I'm saying. London has a crush on him. I can't remember a lot of the subplot, but I just remember it was a good episode, so. Heck yeah, we got an S tier on the way, In the Line of Duty. So you already know if Kirby is going to be in an episode, it may be an S tier if he's on the focus. But anyways, this one, Zach is getting into trouble a lot, and this Tutwiler comes up with a bright idea to give him a position of authority to make him more responsible. And Mr. Mosby's like, are you out of your mind? But it actually worked, and Zach's like going ham. He's like, my only friend is the law. He's like turning against all of his friends. And then it's pretty funny. I know Kirby has some funny lines. He's like, somebody done jack my wallet, or something like that. This one is an A+ tier. It's close to being S, but not quite. Kitchen Casanova. So this one is like pretty funny because like usually Cody's like the nerd, but in this one he's the cooking teacher. He gets all the girls. They're like going crazy over him, which makes Bailey jealous, which I guess isn't a normal position for her to be in. So funny episode, and the subplot, or maybe not subplot, co-plot, is Zach is like just horting gravy onto a painting for London, but since London's has it, people think it's worth a lot of money, so they're paying like $30K. I guess that's kind of like critiquing on the abstract art selling for crazy amounts of money when it really could just be someone sneezing grape jelly on a canvas, but pretty funny. Smarticle Particles, solid C tier. Bailey tries to help London study by making her smart. Well, not making her smart. London has to get her grades up or she's going to get like something going to happen to her, and Bailey convinces her that a perfume will make her smarter. Placebo effect. I remember that's kind of how I found out about the placebo effect. Pretty interesting. Educational, at least. Okay, now we got Family Ties. I guess it's like a play on word. Family Ties, but spelled thighs because London's like from Thailand or something. They visit her grandma. I don't remember a whole lot about this episode. Putting it in the C tier. Not a whole lot going on. I just remember like they get soaked in mud and the elephant sprays them off because I think that was an intro. But yeah. Holy banana. Going bananas. This episode is an S tier, probably the best one so far. This episode is hilarious. So first of all, they got this whack-ass therapist named Mr. Blanket. He is very funny. He's unhinged. He's like psycho. He reminds me of my ex-principal. Shout out to you, Mr. Forrest. Or Mr. Walker, I guess, if you're watching. I highly doubt you are, but that's just in looks. My principal wasn't crazy, but this guy has like some very whack methods, and he has this stuffed doll of Miss Tutwiler that he like makes out with and stuff, and it's pretty funny. Reminds me of some stuff I used to do in my older videos. Don't watch those, by the way. But this video is hilarious. Zach steals Cody's paper, and Cody, in every old paper, as Cody would do, he puts in one paragraph that's really weird. So he put a paragraph in this one saying like, I'm tormented by bananas. I'm scared of them. I imagine them chasing after me and gnashing their teeth and violating me. I don't know if he added that last part in there, but then Zach obviously doesn't read through the paper, turns it in. The teacher thinks he has problems, sends him to therapy, and Mr. Blank is doing all this weird stuff. He eventually dresses Cody up as a banana and has them fight it out. And then they actually have like an emotional talk about how Cody was always jealous of Zach for being cool, and Zach was always jealous of Cody for being so smart. And it was a good brother moment. I'm sure a lot of brothers out there can relate to it. Not me, obviously, because I was like the cool and smart one. Yeah, the cool and smart one. And also, the co-plot in this one is fire. There's this game called Better Life, and Woody's trying to date this girl on there, and there are just some hilarious jokes. Mainly that Cody like turns into a cat to get into the game, and Zach's like, if you don't play, you don't stay, and then whacks him with his tail out of the arcade. And then Cody keeps trying to kiss this girl, but he accidentally kicks her. So it's like getting like romantic, and then he like kicks her in the face. So it's like a hilarious episode, probably the best one so far. Next we got Lost at Sea, which I think was a 2-part special or something, but this is an A+. This one's really good. They accidentally all tumble into a lifeboat and get set adrift at sea to survive on an island. There are tons of funny jokes. Zach's like the man catching all the fish. London's pretending to be insane to get out of doing work. Woody's simping over London and letting her ride him. Pause. I think in a horse kind of way, not like the doggy kind of way. Well, that's not even... Never mind. Y'all get what I'm saying. Anyways, they're on the island surviving. It reminded me of the show Lost a little bit. It's pretty cool. You always got to have like a castaway episode. So they're doing all the stereotypes, like writing a face on a ball. There's like a skeleton beside you on the beach. It was a really funny episode. Cody tries to like build wings, and he's like, finally, my fragile exoskeleton will come in handy and I can fly. And then he like jumps off and fails. And they eventually end up getting back by making a hot air balloon out of London's clothes. Pretty interesting. But anyways, A+ tier, really funny episode, 2-parter. They didn't do a lot of those. Up next we got Roomies, which introduces Marcus into the mix. I love Marcus. He's hilarious. His story is like he's some like has-been ex-rapper. So, and his hilarious song, Retainer Baby, Retainer Baby. It was like kind of wild, but anyways. This episode A tier, Marcus is hilarious. Zach's like, dang, you didn't get to live much of a childhood as a child star. I wonder if like they could relate to it in real life, but that may be a topic for another day. But anyways, so they're doing their shenanigans, and then they become friends, and Marcus stays around for like maybe a season or 2. I don't know what he's up to now. Crossing Jordan, another A tier. See, things are starting to heat up in that 2nd, 3rd season. But they meet Jordan Sparks. I guess he was a real life celebrity. And they kind of sing this song. It's pretty cool. It's one of her biggest songs, but the one on the show is a little bit different. I'll try to do my best rendition. Cody's like, where water flows or falls from above, you shower me with a feeling of love. In a second, I soon realize that I've got you falling from my eyes. But I think her real song is more like da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na. Oh yeah, it's like one step at a time, we're falling. It's actually, I think it's called One Step at a Time. It's pretty decent. I started listening to it because of this show. Oh yeah, and I don't know why I'm taking so long on this, but the co-plot, London has this contest online for one of her fans to meet her, and the fan like filled it out and exited so she could win, and she's like psycho and tries to steal London's identity. It was decently funny, but the Jordan Sparks, Marcus, Cody, and Zach, they dressed up to pretend to be a mariachi band too, because Marcus is like ashamed of who he has become. Aren't we all ashamed of who we've become in the end? By the way, quick life update for me. I'm trying to do real estate. I did all the online stuff, super boring. It was like a 90-hour course, and I've been trying to pass the thing. It was pretty, I passed the state test. I still got to pass the national test. So got that scheduled again, doing some studying and everything. So hopefully I can make that work. I'd rather make YouTube work, but I don't think that's very realistic. And I will say a funny story. When I was taking the test, first off, they treated it like Fort Knox. Metal bar, pat you down, rectal cavity search, made me like open my mouth like crazy. Like it's not that deep. And I was still able to write one answer on my wiener. So when I went in the bathroom, I was able to see it. But that's an answer for another day. Oh wait, shoot, they can like, I shouldn't be into that on film. But anyways, the thing I was gonna say is, when I was in there, it's dead silent, except this person next to me kept like moaning and stuff. And at first I thought it was a dude, but we'll get to that later. Every 5 or 10 seconds it'd be like, oh. I'm like, excuse me, sir. We're trying to take it. I'd be like looking around the room to see if anyone else was like staring at him, but everyone else was just like focusing up. Every 5 seconds, oh. Or sometimes it'd be like, oh. I'd be like, what the fuck? So then I get up and it's like this huge black lady, no offense, but it's just moaning like out the wazoo. I'm like, ma'am, are you like doing a little something down there? I don't know. it was crazy. I blame her for failing that test, actually. Let me get my answer real quick. Wait, is it A or B? Now, if I compare A next to B, I don't know this. Oh, I can't focus. But anyways, that mini rant aside, this one's going to be another A+ tier. It's very funny. They enter into the Bermuda Triangle, where everything's supposed to get wacky. And they do. Zach and Cody switch places to where Zach's like the nerdy baking loser and Cody's like the cool dude, which is pretty funny to see them reverse their roles. They both played them very well. I think Cody played the jock better than Zach played the nerd. That's just my opinion. I always think Cody was actually a little bit stronger of an actor than Zach. I don't know why I'm saying them by their show names, but it's always funny in this show. Like, the acting's really good, but sometimes if you look at background, people are like, look at Zach. Sometimes when he's in a serious scene, he'll just be like looking around, like trying not to laugh, or like Woody too. If you like, I've watched the show too many times, but sometimes if you just pay attention to small details like that, it's pretty funny to watch. But anyways, in this episode, Zach is the nerd. Cody's the cool dude. They switch. They have like an alternate universe, and then at the end, they like feel more for each other, even though I don't know if it ever actually happened. It was kind of like a dream almost. Anyways, this next one's called The Beauty and the Fleeced, which is also getting an A tier because of its funny premise. Zach, Woody, and Marcus, trio goals right there. They like the Strawberry Park crew. Shout out Rob, Rhino, and Noah Boat, man. I love y'all. I'm your #1 fan. Rob actually responded to one of my DMs the other day, so that was cool. But then I accidentally talked to him too much and he left me on scene. But anyways, I get off track way too easily. This show was pretty dang good. This episode was pretty dang good. Basically, they're hosting the beauty pageant and they all want the girl they like to win, so they're completely biased. Well, actually, Woody isn't that biased. He likes Bailey, but I think Bailey probably deserves to win in the situation, so he's going for her. And Marcus is in love with London, so he wants her to win. And Zach picks some random skank. Oh, sorry. I thought it was Maya at first, but it wasn't Maya. Maya isn't in the show yet. And they're all like doing that to win, but then the girls find out about it and they're like, we would never want to be objectified. And then they make the boys do their own beauty pageant, and it's pretty funny. Woody's like, I don't know about y'all, but I'm strutting some ham hocks, and then starts like flexing and stuff. And then, yeah, funny. This also reminded me of one of the first episodes of The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody in the hotel, where they made Cody like dress up as a girl to be in a beauty pageant. That was pretty weird. Whew, had to take a pee real quick. Drank a lot of water today. Sometimes I like just basking out in the sun and then like traveling into the woods. I thought about doing like a wood vlog or like a mockumentary, like 24-hour survival challenge, even though it'd be like obviously fake and like dumb and stuff. So comment down below if you want to see that. I think it could be funny. So we got the Swede life, as in Swedish. This one's a C tier. It wasn't that funny. There was a pretty hot blonde chick they brought on for it, I remember, but they just go to Sweden and they're like, oh, Cody Martin's ancestors. Wait, they were bad guys? Oh wait, never mind, they were framed in the lore or something like that. Wasn't that interesting. Up next we got Mother of the Groom, putting this in the B tier. I loved Esteban in The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, and they brought him back for this episode, but I feel like he was a little bit out of it maybe. He just wasn't as funny. He had a funny chicken, and his mom was like kind of bitchy and didn't like the new girlfriend, but then eventually the mom approved, they got married. And I wonder where Esteban's at now, the guy who played him. I don't know his name, but I remember he was pretty dang funny in Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. We got the Defiant ones up next, solid A tier. You know if Mr. Blanket's going to be involved, it's going to be a good episode. So basically, Cody forgets to do his homework, makes a bunch of lies. Marcus ends up wrestling a pretend alligator. Pretty funny there, but the funnier part is Mr. Blanket's trying to get Mr. Mosby and Zach to get along, and he's doing the most whack stuff, like handcuffing together, paws. So it got a little kinky. I remember he did some other funny stuff. But anyways, Mr. Mosby and Zach end up feeling for each other a little bit when Mr. Mosby has to face Miss Tutwiler's wrath on Zach's behalf, and Zach has to face the annoying ass customers. They're like, oh, an alligator ate my dog, or something like that. You guys remember the line if you watched the show. But anyways, funny episode. Up next we got Any Given Fantasy. This one's going in the B tier. They got like Kurt Warner. Apparently he was a big football player. Whenever they got some celebrities on here a couple of times, some football players, basketball players. I think they got Kevin Love, D Wade, and in one episode. But anyways, obviously they're not that great at acting. They're just there for the star appeal. A decent episode, fantasy football. Not too much to say. I remember Woody pretends to be like a rooster, has some funny lines. He's like, I rented it for 3 days. I got to get my money's worth. And like his head gets like turned around. He's like, who turned out the lights? He's behind me, isn't he? I'm just kidding. I don't think he says that part, but pretty funny episode. Rolling with the Homies, putting that in the C tier as well. Obviously, still had some laughs, but not a lot to say. Not very memorable. Moving on. You dig it? B tier. Again, they like go into some jungle. Someone gets possessed. Okay, Zach like pees on a thing. That was pretty funny. The Slurpee. And maybe this is an A. B plus tier. Definitely some funny moments. London's Apprentice, gonna give this one a C tier. London gets $1 million donation from her dad, and then everyone has to come up with an invention. And Cody does like a kitchen in a mitt, which is pretty decent. Marcus does like flush tunes, which is pretty stupid. And Bailey does like a grandma corn cob apple bob thing. And then Zach does like a jetpack, like some like futuristic spacesuit. And Woody, I don't think he did anything. But then they end up combining it all. At the end of the day, I think Cody's might have been the most useful. Or like Zach's if the jetpack actually worked or something. But anyways, funny episode. Oh shoot, I have to bump this up to A now because I remember the subplot. Kirby was in it and he like loses the money, but then he finds the money or something funny. Kirby, automatic A tier. I mean, come on. Once Upon a Sweet Life is getting an S tier for me because they fall asleep in class and they're daydreaming, and then they all replay different classic Disney fairy tales like Snow White, Jack and the Beanstalk, or like Hansel and Gretel. There are some really funny moments in these and like pop culture references, story references. Very funny episode. Also, Zach like gets super fat and stuff. Bailey turns into a cow. Very funny episode. The funniest part I think is where Woody turns into this like giant squirrel and he's like a bully. He's like, "I like your hat." And then he like just like shoves people out of the way. It's very funny. Woody had some of the best laughs in the entire show. Marriage 101, another S tier, bro. This is a hilarious episode with an interesting premise. I don't know if this would ever happen. I always wondered growing up, like I watched this in elementary school. I was like, are they going to make me do this in high school? Unfortunately, they didn't. But she matched everyone up to pretend to be married just to see what it's like for a school project. So it's very funny. I think Zach ends up with London, Cody and Bailey, obviously. Woody and Addison. Haven't gone into Addison very much. She's like hyperactive, decently funny, can get on your nerves. That reminds me, London. Some people like her, some people don't. They definitely overplayed her stupidity in this show. In the original, she wasn't as dumb, but then kind of here, it's the only thing she can do. But sometimes she has some like smart moments. She also has some funny moments. London was a good actor. I feel like it'd be kind of hard to play just like a dumb as a rock person all the time. But Brenda Song did a good job. But anyways, back to the episode. They have to be married, spin the wheel of misfortune, go on some dating show. Zach turns into a clown. It was a hilarious episode. Model behavior's getting an A+ tier from me. Partially because of Voodlander, where Woody pretends to be this model and it's hilarious. And they bring on these twin girls who I remember were pretty hot back in the day. I may need to look them up. Maybe it has their name on here, I don't know, but it's pretty funny, pretty basic. Zach like wants to throw a party for this girl. And they try to distract Mr. Mosby. Woody becomes Voodlander. So, very funny episode. Oh, dang, I might have messed up in the video. Earlier I said, like, I was thinking of this episode where, like, Zach and Cody, like, try to buy the earrings. Cody gets a knife. But then I think the one I said that for was the Mommy and the Swami, which was actually when they go to, like, a guru that's, like, super commercialized on the top of a mountain. And London, like, tries to buy off her thing, but it's all jumbled up at this point. I'll put them both in the B tier for simplicity. I Break for Whales, putting that in the A tier. Apparently there's something about like cruise ships killing the whales. They got to slow down and they all take in alter egos. And they try to like lock people in a steam room or something. Or not a steam room, engine room. I don't know. It's a pretty funny episode. A tier for sure. Oh, 7 Seas News, bro. S tier, S+ tier. One of the best episodes, bro. We got Kirby. We got classic Zach, Cody, and the main gang. Basically, Kirby has this show called Boat Cops, and the theme song is like, "Bad boys, boat cops." I don't even remember, but it's this hilarious, stupid show about a boat cop catching like the king crab leg bandit, and then Kirby's like, "Somebody done jacked my wallet." Like, hilarious lines, like getting a cup of whipped cream. I also remember this one scene where like Kirby was like behind a curtain and they were interviewing him anonymously, and it was really funny. I don't know if that was in this episode or not. It was in this episode. And he's like, "I don't know." Cody's like, "How many more people have to disappear for you to get off your butt and do your job. And then Kirby's like, I don't know, eh? And then he's just like munching on a pickle. He's like, good heavens, man, what are you gonna do about this? And he's like, eating a sandwich? Because he's like trying to pretend to be a woman. So it is hilarious, bro. Oh my gosh, what else, bro? Zach and Bailey are co-anchors and they hate each other and they're going back and forth. London's like a weather girl with a green dress on and a green screen. I don't know, man. This episode was hilarious. I love this episode. I don't know why, but this just gave me a flashback to when I was in like kindergarten and going over to my next door neighbor's house and like watching Sweet Life together. And she was a chick, by the way. So I was kind of, for some reason, I was like pulling hose back when I was in elementary school. It was kind of weird, actually. And then it kind of like fell off in middle and high school and a little bit after high school. And now, still. Cut. No, I'm just messing around. But it was kind of like, it was weird. It unlocked a core memory. I remember she moved away like a long time ago. Starship Tipton, putting that in the B tier. Pretty decent episode. I don't know what that was, but it was set in the future. Zach's kids like causing mayhem. They make some funny jokes and stuff, but you know what. Mean chicks. London's always so mean to Bailey, and she's like, I bet you $1 million that you couldn't go a day without insulting me or whatever. Then London like contacts Mr. Blanket, who's pretty funny. That may bump it up to an A, actually, because Mr. Blanket, he gives her some tickle vest that tickles her every time that she says something mean. So then she ends up winning the bet, and then the subplot, Mr. Mosby's scared of bees. So Mr. Blanket's like, Mr. Mosby's like taking a shower and he hears like a buzzing. And then he's like, wait a second, there are no bees at sea. And then Mr. Blanket's like, not when you buy can o' bees. Don't forget bag of wasps for only 5 extra. It's pretty funny. I know it's hard to explain. Is this the one where Cody's getting tormented by that bird? I don't think so. But in one episode, Cody gets tormented by a demon seagull, which is hilarious. That's an S tier. Ooh, Breakup in Paris. This has got to be an A tier. This one's a 2-parter as well. Pretty funny. It's basically just a giant misunderstanding. Bailey is like, she's like hanging out with some mime, and like Cody's practicing his date for Bailey with London, which is pretty weird, but Bailey doesn't know that, and she walks in on them like pretending to like dance or something, and she's like all offended, and then she ends up like making kissy faces with a mime and a whole thing. And then like Cody, no, Woody and Zach are like steal some spy's purse and are getting like tracked down by like bad guys or something. It's pretty funny too. So now we're into season 3, which is where it gets good. Well, season 2 it kind of got good, but anyways, the silent treatment is an A tier for me. Cody, they broke up, so Cody's super sad. He goes to like this society of monks, and they all have bald caps on, and it's pretty funny. And the main monk dude there, he's like kind of chubby. He's pretty funny. He makes some good jokes. I don't know if I can remember any off the top of my head, but he makes some really funny jokes, and it's just kind of like making fun of monks a little bit, but not like in a bad way. And it's pretty funny because then Zach and Woody got to sneak in there, and they're all just causing ruckus in the Brotherhood. Good. Dang it, my camera keeps falling off of this precarious setup. Well, anyways, since the camera fell, how about I give y'all a new angle? We feeling it? Actually, I don't know if I'm feeling it. But anyways, I already set up the thing, and most of y'all aren't even watching anyways at this point. What's the next episode? Rat Tail! Oh my gosh. S tier, baby. This one's hilarious. Zach's like trying to be smooth with the girl, and then Woody's like, does this rat bite look infected? And then Zach like convinces him that he's slowly turning into a rat. Oh, this episode's hilarious. And Woody's like, I am the rat. He tries to like scurry around, and they do this parkour scene where they just have some guy in like a curly wig doing all this cool stuff with a pillow in his chest pretending to be Woody. Oh man, this episode is very funny. Easy. Up next we got this one called So You Think We Can Date. So You Think You Can Date? I don't remember too much about this one, so we're just gonna put it in the C tier and move along. My Oh Maya is definitely an S tier. Well, A+ tier. They bring in this random kid named Dante who like pretends to be Marcus's brother, and Dante's hilarious, bro. I think he's only in like 2 or 3 episodes. He might have been in the Paris one actually as well, pretending to be little now that I think about it. But Dante is hilarious, so that's a high A tier. But anyways, My Oh Maya, Zach's like trying to date Maya and stuff, but he thinks Cody's 6-month plan for Bailey is just gonna work on every girl, which is pretty dumb. I think Zach would be smarter than that. But anyways, great episode. Dawes Boots is going in the B for me. There's like this chess tournament. They get trapped on a submarine. It's a whole thing. Pretty decent. Cody has this funny moment where he's like, aha, I always, she's like, you don't have your blinky now, but he's like, joke's on you, I always keep a swatch of it for emergencies. And that part's pretty funny. Bon Voyage is the next one. It's pretty hilarious. We're putting it in the A tier, probably just because of this one Woody quote where he thinks his powerful bowels have been enough to like rupture the Aqua Lounge or something funny. Like everyone thinks they did it, but they think it's Zach, but it's not Zach, and then it ended up being Mr. Mosby. This episode was really fun. They have this worker chick who reminds me of Jackie from Brawl Stars. That I'm just adding that in there. Oh yeah, and this is like a send-off for Marcus. I guess he had better stuff to do, so he films his new hip opera, which gets him noticed by some famous people. Pretty funny. Next up, we got Arwen guest starring from the original show. I thought he was always hilarious in the original with his like cardboard cutout of their mom, just genuinely tweaking out half the time. He would do these funny movements and act like a robot. Arwen was funny. Obviously, he's lost some of his appeal because he's just been out of it for so long, but still, this one's getting an A tier. Arwen brings along the super robot who Cody kind of falls in love with. He's kind of like dicking her down on the side. But anyways, it's a funny episode. Ooh, Party On. S tier, baby. They get Sean Kingston, baby. You're way too beautiful, girl. It's why you it'll never work. Anyways. Sean Kingston comes on the board. They're doing cool stuff. Cody and Bailey go to some chocolate factory or something, but that's not important. We got Sean Kingston, baby. Zach convinces Sean to throw a party, thinking it's for London, but he's actually doing it with all the stuff Maya likes to impress Maya, and then they figure it out. And then they sing the dum 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 dum. You tell me that you need me, but then you wanna. You know what I'm saying. I don't really get that. Sean Kingston. I don't really have that. No. Love and More is funny. That's going in the A tier. Zach and Maya finally start dating, but then he starts getting conflicted with like hanging out with the bros, hanging out with Maya. I'm sure we've all been there. Definitely, bro. It's like the girl wants me, all the homies want me. Like I have friends and women. But Zach, it's pretty funny. He's like trying to play Call of Duty with him, but he wants to be at her recital, and he like tries sneaking off from the recital to the thing, and there's this whole montage of him changing clothes, boom, 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 in the plants and stuff, and it's pretty funny. And it's funny because she's like, and I know my boyfriend will never leave, or I know he'll never leave. She's like, leave? Because like right when she says that, he like runs off saying he has to tinkle. But it's pretty funny. Trouble in Tokyo, gonna be a C tier for me. They bring the mom back, they do some commercial, they're ninjas. And for a Japan-themed episode, you'd think I'd like it, but meh. The Ghost and Mr. Martin, I'm gonna put that in the A tier as well. It's pretty funny. They do like the whole Ghostbusters thing, and there's some ghost trying to tell him messages. And I'm sure there are some hilarious moments. I'm not recalling this episode as much, but it's pretty funny. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot, like London pretends to be Bayou Bob, and they try to convince Mr. Mosby to start playing piano in front of people again, and he like gets nervous and passes out, which I can actually relate to because I used to have crippling anxiety. It actually wasn't that funny, but anyways, Mr. Mosby gets over his fear, and yeah. Oh man, Senior Ditch Day. This is going to be an S tier for me. And I was always looking forward to like Senior Ditch Day for like whenever my high school happened, but then I don't even remember what happened, but it just didn't end up happening. But anyways, Senior Ditch Day is funny. I remember there's this one joke where like they try to sneak into the VIP club, and then Woody turns like famous, and he convinces everyone he's like a lord, and they're like feeding him shrimp and like hilarious stuff. But then they find out Woody's not the actual lord, and Zach wanted them to get a picture of some like famous guy like Ronaldo or something for Maya, and Woody's like, I didn't get a picture of him, but I kicked him in the butt, and he said, "Aye," and that was a funny joke. My Sister's Keeper, definitely an A tier. Woody's sister comes aboard, and everyone thinks she's gonna be some like chopped off like ogre. So like when Woody tries to set her up with Cody, Cody's the nice guy, so he says yes, and Zach's like making fun of him. But then she actually turns out to be kind of hot. But then she turns out to be just like Woody, so it's pretty weird. And like when Cody's like looking at her, he like sees Woody and they're about to kiss, and it's like wacky. Frozen's gonna be a B tier for me. They like go to Antarctica and they're stuck in some lab or something, and there's this quirky scientist dude who's actually pretty funny. He's like awkward and weird, like he's been trapped away for like 20 years. Plays his role well, B tier. Oh yeah, and I remember like Zach, they're all like riding the snowmobile, and like they're like, it's too heavy, and then Zach just like kicks Cody off, and then Woody's like, oh, that's better. So that was London Carol. This is going in the C tier. It's just your average Christmas episode where like London sees where she'll be in the future if she keeps up her antics of being selfish, greedy, and a bitch sometimes. And actually, I heard that Brenda Song ended up dating Kevin McCalkin from Home Alone or whatever his name is. Like, that's wacky, bro. That's wacky, man. That's wacky. Or like Leonardo, some older dude. I remember she ended up dating him. She was like pretty hot, so good. Oh, the plays the thing is hilarious. I feel bad for Cody because they're making him dress up as a girl again, but Cody makes this play for the class to reenact. That's obviously just his breakup with Bailey. His like is about Bodie and Haley. It's hilarious. And Bailey, he wants Bailey to play the lead, but she's like, oh heck no, because he like kills her off and stuff. So then Cody ends up playing her. He's like shaking my bonbons. It's really funny. Shoot, what else? Woody says some stuff. Zach says some stuff. It's a hilarious episode. Next, we got the Twister episodes. I'm gonna put those all in the C tier. They go to Bailey's hometown. A Twister blows over. Cody and Bailey are like, maybe we would get back together. I don't know. They're decent episodes. I haven't watched these a whole lot. All right, we're getting close to the end, sadly, but Prom Night. Prom Night's definitely a solid A tier. They prank Mr. Mosby by like putting him in a recliner with a bunch of balloons, and he like flies away, which don't ask me the logic behind that one or the science, but they do that, and then Mr. Mosby gets back and he's like, I ban prom. So they have to throw some secret prom, which is funny because London's like posted up outside doing a secret knock, and like when Mr. Mosby comes in, they flip everything, put regular clothes on, and then when he leaves, but then he finds out, then they're like, you're voted prom king. And Bailey's like obnoxious. She's like, vote for me for prom queen. She's like stamping up things everywhere. And it's like a funny, emotional episode too, because eventually Woody gets to hang out with Addison. Oh, I remember, it's hilarious. They like kiss a pineapple. Zach is trying to teach Cody how to like. Zach is trying to teach Woody how to kiss a girl, which I'm sure we can all relate to. Like, it can be kind of weird to like do it for the first time. And he gives him like a pineapple, and Woody's like taking a bite out of her. Oh gosh, that part was really funny. I'm telling you, bro, Woody was hilarious, and he looks completely different now. I need to check on his Instagram soon. Snakes on a Boat going in the B tier for me. Don't hate me for this, Mom. My mom and my sister really like to watch it too sometimes, and they love this episode, but I think it's a pretty decent episode. There are some funny moments where Woody's like, I had to go down a mid-size hallway with a turn, and that's why he's out of breath. They let snakes out on a boat, and they like trap him. They try to trap him in a hallway full of glue, and that's where Woody says, and London's like trying to come up with a simile, and she's like, trapped like snakes in a hallway full of glue. Then Woody's like, nice simile or whatever, nice metaphor. So there are some funny moments, but yeah. Oh, we got the last episode, Graduation on Deck. Super sad. And a side note, y'all may not know this, but Cole and Dylan actually like they pitched a sequel to this where it's like them in the city and they like adopt it. They have to like they find some kid or have to raise a kid, or they pitched something to the Disney executives, and the Disney executives just laughed at them or something like that, which is pretty disrespectful for all they've done for the Disney Channel after all these years. But anyways, this is the last episode. It's super sad. I'm giving it an A+ tier just because the show had to end at some point. It's sad, but it's a suitable ending. Shoot, what happens in this episode? Graduation. Cody doesn't get into the college he wants, but then they're like, oh, it'll be okay. And then the ship's getting like destroyed while they're graduating. Mr. Mosby actually stands up to Mr. Tipton for once. But anyways, it's a sad ending. Well, a decent ending, just sad that it had to be over. Anyways, after this, they also had a movie, which wasn't that good. It was weird, all about twins and stuff like that. It really wasn't that good of a movie, but I hope you guys did enjoy this video. This is one of my longer ones. I'm going to try to start posting more. Please drop a like and a comment. It means so much. Maybe even a subscribe if you're feeling sensual with it. Not really sure what I meant by that, but anyways, this show means a lot to me. If you want me to do any other shows, let me know. Or if you want me to do any other videos, let me know. Follow the Instagram, subscribe to the channel. Anyways, see ya. Anyways, got the camera set back up. The Suite Life on Deck. A great show, am I right? Man, I really need to start writing scripts for these. Ugh.